Okay, so if you can again just start off by saying why did you leave school?
I left school because I didn't feel supported enough.
What happened?
For me and for a couple of other students that I know who attended my old school, we dream big. We have a lot of dreams that we want to do when we get older, and my school wasn't supportive of that. They told us that we would, it would be better for us to attend a community college, and we wouldn't be able to get into the schools that we wanted to get into, and that even if we tried, it would be a waste of time. And for me, that affected me really hard because I felt as though I worked hard my 3 years at my old school to get where I was, for a teacher, a dean, or the principal to tell me that I wasn't good enough to attend any other college that another student was capable of going to.
Why do you think they did that to you? Did you feel targeted?
I felt targeted in a way, meaning I wasn't the best student and I didn't always have the best attitude. However, I did my work and I did what I had to do. For students who, did have the best attitude and, came into school on time and I guess were the ideal student, there was more support given to them rather than to me and other students.
And do you feel like that was fair?
That was not fair, not to me.
And do you feel like this was a reason that led you to dropping out?
That was a big reason to why I had dropped out. A part of not getting support from school, I wasn't getting it from home, and I needed that somewhere. And at the time, I couldn't give the support I needed to myself, so I ended up dropping out.
Was there a specific incident that pushed you to actually make that decision?
For months at a time in school, I would ask for help, and no teacher would get to me at all. This was in almost every class. So at some point, I just gave up, and I just gave up.
And what do you think the school should have done differently to keep you there?
They should have put more of an effort out and reached out to me way more than they have tried. I mean, they try to talk to me during office hours, but while I went to go see them for the office hours, the teacher would be eating and they would tell me come back, and by the time I came back, lunch was over, they were already heading off to their next class. It was just, time management is a big thing.
And so when you were talking about how that unfair treatment, was that what you meant in the unfair treatment in terms of support?
Yes.
Okay. So how did the lack of support that you had and dropping out and all that stuff affect your life, both in the negative way and both in the positive way?
Dropping out affected me in a negative way because it's something that I never wanted to do, because I did have these big goals and I wanted to accomplish them, and I knew that by dropping out I wouldn't be able to fulfill them, and I knew dropping out was going to continue a cycle in my family where nobody was going to school, and that's not what I wanted for myself. Positively, I ended up going to Boston Day and Evening, and it was like a 360 change from there.
So what is this place, what does it give you that you feel like wasn't given at your previous schools that helps you?
A lot of support, and also because it was a new start for me.
So can you be a little more specific in terms of what they do here that works?
The teachers are they talk to you more. If you need a teacher, it's easy to access them. They give you their email, they give you their phone numbers. They want to know how you're doing. They make the effort to find out how you're doing. And it's not it's not like you're playing tag with the teacher. You're going here to find them. You miss them, they go there to find you, they miss you. It's different.
Okay. So despite having dropped out and things like that, what do you feel you've been able to accomplish, and what successes have you had?
I feel like I've accomplished a lot in terms of like schooling wise. Now in this school, I've I mean I'm gonna graduate this year June, and I didn't think I was gonna make it to this point, honestly, and I think that's just my biggest accomplishment.
And do you feel like, how sometimes people might look at a dropout as somebody who's not smart, someone who's not a leader, someone who's not doesn't have much to give? How do you look at yourself?
I look at myself as someone who really needed that guidance and that push to help them go along further.
Do you feel like you are worth investing in?
I feel like that a lot. I mean, I have the mindset of a millionaire. I want to do big things. I have big dreams. I mean, I want to do nursing with my MBA on the side, as well as, writing a book. So
that's great. So, some people might look at dropping out as a mistake, or people who don't do that well in school, as making a mistake. Why should students who make mistakes be given a second chance?
Oftentimes it's not the student. Oftentimes it's not the student who made the mistake. It's just things that led them up to that point. And I feel like everybody deserves a second chance because, like for me, I was able to turn everything around, and it was beneficial. And I proved everybody who said I couldn't do anything, I proved them wrong.
So where do you think you would be if a program like BDEA didn't exist?
I think I'd be working right now, a minimum wage job, doing nothing probably.
Okay. And so like one of the things that we talked about here is like, so you weren't suspended or you weren't expelled or anything, but for those who might, I guess for you, do you feel like even though you weren't expelled or suspended, do you feel like in some ways you felt like you were pushed out?
Absolutely, yeah.
Even though you made that choice yourself to drop out, why would you define it as being pushed out?
No one really stopped me from doing it. No one really said anything when I wasn't coming to school. No one really called home and said, hey, Adryana's not coming to school or anything like that. And I'm not saying that they were, I'm not saying it's their job to stop. I mean, they weren't obligated to stop me from going, but the effort could have been made more.
So there was zero effort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you want to add?
I can add anything, right?
Yeah.
I think the value of education is very important, and though school is important, I think self-education